All right, then it's time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this February 14th. We're starting with The Nation newspaper. Mike Mesikeno is here on this as well.
Yeah.
Let's start with The Nation. It says here, major headline, Emefiele's $6.2 million trial. Buhari's signature forged, says ex-SGF. Both Mustafa Disson's approval authorizing CBN to pay foreign observers during 2023 polls. 3 forgery suspects watch listed by Interpol, and the federal government files charges in court. On face value, I can say that this document did not emanate from the office of the president. That's the quote. The story starts there on the cover and wraps up on page 3. Access Holdings awaits CBN's nod for Agbede as CEO. A photo there as well. It says payment of wage award for federal workers resumes. Minister Labour meet. Oyetola Ports Community Plan will aid ease of doing business. Page 7 has more on that. And Nigeria and UK sign pact to boost trade. Now, the photo story there is an interesting one, of course, where the Super Eagles showed up at Aso Villa yesterday. It was all over social media.
Yeah, that's not what I want to talk about, really.
Really?
Okay. You know, this the $6.2 million trial is the one that blows my mind. I don't know whatever. Some people are talking about conspiracy theories about how maybe that might not be the case. Emefiele is being set up and all of that. But well, you know, there was a time when the story came about a staff member of the presidency at one time forging even the president's signature. We've heard about this before, and how, you know, it was just a little bit in hushed tones and all of that. But this one is big, man, and you know, we just it's like Nigeria just seems to, at every point in time, just surprise you, even though when you know that you cannot. I mean, $6.2 million, and we heard that the money was paid, even the equivalent was paid in naira.
It boggles.
It's mind-boggling. Exactly, it's mind-boggling.
But when you think about it, you know, when you think of conspiracy theories, it does feel like most of these theories have some inklings of truth in them. You know,
yes, probably
they
because
do.
I mean, to election observers,
Yeah.
I don't get. They came to observe. Wouldn't they do that on their own bill? Why should we have to take that on our bill? That's not case for. But you know, there is just so much of cleanup that needs to be done on everywhere, and I'm wondering, is this something that can be done in what time? But man, this is
But at
shocking.
least the investigations have begun, and we will definitely be following up on those stories. I think we have the Daily Independent with us now, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's talk about the federal government asks for more time as Labour insists on strike ultimatum. The riders underneath that headline go on to say promises to fast-track implementation of a 16-point agreement. A minimum wage should be reviewed annually, and also President and stakeholders point to ways to promote fair resolution of disputes. There's still talk here about the 6.2 million election fraud. Ex-SGF Mustafa exonerates itself and says Buhari didn't okay fund. Niger Republic retaliates, bans Nigerian flights from airspace. A rising insecurity, Senate grills security chiefs for over 5 hours. And reps step down bill to make varsity degree minimum qualification for office of president and governors. Now, this is quite interesting. We are in a country where basically, Titi, I don't know how many jobs you can get without a university degree. There are quite a few.
There are.
And then, but now when it comes to electoral positions, it is the SSCE, as it were. So there was this bill that was being pushed that the minimum qualification should be a university degree. And the reps, the people who are in these positions, unanimously rejected it.
So when you think about it, it does feel... So there are so many businessmen who did not get tertiary institution,
Okay.
who are multi-millionaires today.
Okay.
I'm not even going to use the term billionaire. I'm going to say multi-millionaires today.
Okay.
And how they got their business done was through acumen, through maybe mentorship, and so many. And then true grit, the Nigerian grit that we know that each Nigerian businessman has.
But the point is that that's our business. We're talking about elective positions
Of
here.
course.
President and governors. wouldn't you rather have somebody who was educated to at least tertiary level?
Definitely, in my
I
opinion,
would want
yes.
that.
But
I
that's
would
not
want
to
that.
say. But that's not to say that someone without a tertiary degree
Oh,
cannot lead.
facts,
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah.
But we are saying that a minimum qualification is not bad for tertiary institutions for such elective positions.
Well, we'll definitely see how that story turns out eventually. We'll definitely be looking into that.
They've stepped it down. There's no way it's turning out again. They don't want them.
Mike. All right. Now, there is quite a bit more on this cover, but I think we should go over to another paper now. This picture just keeps following us through each of the papers with the Super Eagles at Aso Rock. Of course, Tinubu gifts Eagles land, houses, national honors after AFCON.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah, at one point I thought about it. I was like, okay, yes, these guys have served or done what they need to do.
Yeah.
But these lands that are being given, are they? These lands that are being given, you know, because we've had this before, where and all of that. A number of people have asked that is it okay to give lands that are taxpayers? You know, what is paid for by taxpayers to these people? I mean, how many of our servicemen have we given lands and all of that? Because, you know, remember the recent issues about pensions and all of that for those who are in service and even their wage and all of that. So that question has been there and all of that. But of course, when it comes to AFCON and the Super Eagles, the major one that has been trending has been Alex Iwobi. And the
But I'm going to take you back to that land conversation again. I'm going to take you back. You know why? Because just recently we heard of a former Nigerian tennis player, international tennis, who represented Nigeria and fell on hard times. Now, at this point, we are trying to reward these athletes for what they've done, such that in future, you know, they'll be settled. Even if they don't go back into the international footballing community, at least their families will have, you know, a house to live in or whatever it is.
Valid.
Yeah, so
and I'm not taking anything away from the validity of your posit on that particular issue. But my point I'm just trying to make is that, look, I would rather priority be given to servicemen. I mean, have we thought about servicemen and their families? People who died giving their lives, who gave their lives for this country. How about their families? As much as we're going to do this one, I feel like when it comes to the scale of preference, those ones are higher. That's just what I think.
Okay, at this point, we are wrapping it up on the covers of the dailies. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Make sure you use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC as you send in your comments. And, of course, tag us. That's Wake Up Nigeria TVC.